hurricane on August 30th. Today's Powerball jackpot is the third largest ever. It's up to $1.4 billion. Tonight's jackpot is also the fifth largest lottery prize in U.S. history. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. See how ComEd is preparing our public schools for a clean energy future at comed.com/public schools.
Out Chicago.
What I hate is bringing up trans issues with somebody that doesn't want to discuss politics, because trans issues, it's rights. It's not just politics.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations where I was bringing up somebody that was trans, and a person happened to be a person that never wants to talk about politics. You know, can you guess probably where they lean? But how dare you, with me bringing up something about a trans issue, say I don't want to go there. That's political.
Catch Out Chicago every Sunday, 11 to 1 on WCPT 820.
This is your WCPT Progressive Calendar. Thursday, October 19th at 5 p.m., the Union League Club of Chicago invites you to Rights versus Protections, Gender, Womanhood, and the Stakes of the ERA debate, the first in a three-part series on the Equal Rights Amendment, with a presentation by Sandra Frink, Associate Professor of History and Director of the Women's and Gender Studies program at Roosevelt University. The cost is $35, and the event takes place at 65 West Jackson Boulevard in Chicago. Tuesday, October 31st at 12:30 p.m., the University of Chicago Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice presents a lecture on the financialization of health politics with University of Chicago professor Colleen M. Grogan. This talk will review a sweeping history of American healthcare. The event is free and open to the public. 969 East 60th Street in Chicago.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. Call 800-581-9073. That's 800-581-9073. 800-581-9073.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
The following program, Collaboraction Radio, is sponsored by Collaboraction, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Beautiful. I love you just the way you are. Hello, and welcome to Collaboration Radio. I am Carla Stillwell. I am all alone today. I'm not alone, but my co-host, my normal co-host, Anthony Mosley, is not here. He is at South by Southwest with the kids, having a good time, so I am unsupervised. They have left me to my own devices, and I have brought the most beautiful brown women I could find to be my friends today and co-host with me. Of course, my engineer, Henry, the guy with the best hair in radio.
That's real.
It's real.
I covet it a little bit.
Yeah. Like it just gives me greater wave. It's just amazing. You just heard the sounds of DJ Lady D. Thank you for joining us at Collaboration Radio on WCPT 8:20 a.m. Who am I talking to? What am I talking about? Wait, hold on.
What had happened?
I gotta get rid of my cough drop.
Do we need to riff?
No, I have to get rid of my cough drop.
Okay, got it.
Because I'm used to having somebody else that's always riffing, so I can get my cough drop now. But that's okay. It's okay. That's okay. I'm going to power through. I'm not going to cough.
Look, you're a director. We just need direction. Let us know what we need to cover. I got you.
Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio is and also streaming live on Facebook.
Yay! I don't know where to look.
At which camera? One of those. I think it's your camera. Okay. And WCPT.com, or available on demand at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else you can get your digital content. So we are here today with the one, the only, the awesome, amazing, my dean at DePaul University, Black History herself, Dr. Martine Rogers Green. Is it Rogers Green or Green Rogers? Rogers Green.
Think of it like a weird superhero with
it's
no real
Green
powers.
Rogers.
Yeah.
It's Green Rogers.
Yeah.
The dean of the theater school at DePaul University.
Thank you for having me.
So she's going to be holding it down today with me, and also one of my little budding artists growing into an amazing artist, Saniyah As-Salaam. She is just phenomenal, and you're going to learn how phenomenal in about 2 minutes. And she is with Collaboration's The Light. So you didn't get to come the first time they came to the studio, but this time you got to be here all by yourself. Healthy competition. Collaboration Radio is sponsored by the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation and donors and members like you. Email radio@collaboration.org or go to www.collaboration.org to learn more. Today's episode of Collaboration Radio is also sponsored by AV Chicago. AV Chicago is Chicago's leading provider of audiovisual production and event management services. We are a 27-year-old nonprofit. 27-year-old nonprofit.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Woot, woot. Whose mission is to build knowledge, empathy, dialogue, and action around oppression and inequity through live theater, film, and now radio. That leverage the power of storytelling and community to cultivate positive social change. How are you doing, Martine? What's going on?
I am brilliant.
You're feeling brilliant. How you feel about the change because we are officially in fall now?
I have feelings because I'm just going to own. I'm from, the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area of Virginia, and so summer's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
Fall, I mean, it's okay. I have to admit, though, it is October, and Halloween that's my season.
Oh, Halloween is your season.
Yeah, it's my holiday, so I'm good.
Saniyah, winter, spring, summer, fall. Which one? Favorite?
I like me some fall. See? I like me some fall. I like the sweater weather. I have a few sweaters in my closet waiting for me to put on. And it's been a while, so I've been patiently waiting for this weather to come because this 80-degree weather was not it for me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, no, this is a little native Chicagoan, man. We get moist. We get damp. We like anytime I feel moist, I gotta have a whole problem.
Yeah, it's gross.
No, toes gotta be free.
Oh, Lord.
All that stuff.
I have on a whole sweater boot today. Y'all can't do nothing with me today.
I tell you what, though, you got that song Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood stuck in my head now.
Do I know the song? I
don't even know.
I don't even know the song.
I don't even know. Like some students of mine back in the day at SUNY New Paltz introduced me to that song, and now it's stuck in my head.
Oh, God.
And so someone says Sweater Weather, and then I just hear that song.
Oh, God. I don't even know these things. So, okay, a couple of things. Last week, we had Sherman Dilla Thomas. Do y'all know Dilla? Mm-hmm. The hip-hop, the TikTok historian?
Yes.
Oh, my God, he was so good. Mm-hmm. If you get a chance, go to our Spotify and go listen to, he did a 20-minute history of Chicago.
I love it.
It was so good. It was so much fun. And next week, I'm going to be out here rogue again. We're going to take over the studio with the Sandra Delgado.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be a whole takeover.
Tell her I said hey.
Listen, hey, you should call in so we could all just be rogue.
Kiki. We're just
and
Kiki.
Just Kiki and out of control. We have coming up, it's almost November. Mm-hmm. It's almost December.
I'm okay with it almost being December, though, because that's my birthday.
When is your birthday?
December 23rd.
Cap?
Yeah, Capricorn. But it's a little bit on the cusp, so I call myself a Saggicorn. All the personality.
Or a Capricorn.
Yeah, exactly. All the all the personality of a Sagittarius, but the work ethic of a Capricorn.
I'm going to call you a cafeterius. I like that a lot. But, so we're coming up on November 11th, which is Collaboration's Utopian Ball. It's our annual festivities. It is our annual fundraiser, and the food is amazing, and the bar is open. So if you would like to attend, please go to our website, www.collaboration.org, for more information. And now, without further ado, I want to spotlight Saniyah. All right, ma'am. Tell me a little bit about how old are you now?
I am 16.
Lord.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, God. It was so much fun, though. 16 was a boss.
Yeah.
When did you start acting and dancing and singing and being great?
Well, I started dancing when I was only 4 years old. I started acting around, I don't even know, like early teens. Probably.
Mama can chime in.
Yeah, because 15? Oh, 5th grade. Oh, yeah, see? I don't even remember that.
Miss Veronica's in the back doing hand signals, everybody.
I don't even remember that. Yeah, I guess I started in 5th grade, and I started singing. Well, I've always been singing, but, I started professionally singing, like, around when I was 10. Around there. And yeah.
So, I met you because you were reading during the Panorama. Mm-hmm. You were reading a character in a play that I wrote called Tatting for the City, which will be back in January. But I was like, I like this kid a lot. And so I told your mom, I was like, I know it's some summer stuff coming up. I want her to be involved in, and reached out to you to be a part of The Light. Mm-hmm. And for those, I know we've probably said it 1,000 times for people who've been listening, but The Light is our young adult youth summer program where we have our youth artists who also have activist platforms. And that are not just trying to be artists, but they're trying to do some good with their work. And so Saniyah got into our program through her auditioning and amazing self. And so tell me about that experience for you.
It was a great experience. We went to a lot of places over the summer, and we performed at Kids Palooza. That was cool. And we performed for the Parks tour, and that was a great experience. And being able to, be an activist and able to share, my gift to the world was also an amazing experience. So overall, it was good. It was great.
What was your platform this year?
Mental health awareness for people of color.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, this young lady is not just like, she's like a quadruple threat, and is an amazing vocalist and writes her own music. So I would like to just step back. Everybody step back from the microphone. and let her give us just a little bit of that is her voice.
Just a little taste.
Little. Well, you can give us a whole. You can give us a whole. You can give us an entree and a dessert too.
Right, exactly.
Give us the song.
There's an appetizer, all sorts of stuff.
Okay. Do I just go?
Just go.
Just go. Okay.
That's you. It's all you.
Okay. I'm different. I'm different. I'm different, but I can see. I'm different. I'm different. I'm different, but I can see. As a child, I could play, I could run all day. Didn't know that the world hated me. I was young, didn't know that the world that I owed a toll for the life that would be. It's unfair, but I swear at the end I won't fail, 'cause the love that my parents gave to me.
Girl, bye.
Right? Oh, I got a little teary eyed. Exactly.
A tear, a
like
whole
right
tear.
Here.
Right here. It's right here. It's pooling.
Exactly.
Henry's over there like, it was a whole thing. We were only...
Exactly. Get it.
Where did this come from? Why did you write this piece?
I was actually, I thought of this piece, in the middle of the night. I was like, wait, let me talk to my father about this, because I feel like, I had lyrics in my head and I was like, okay, this is like the first time that I've ever felt like, wanting to write something. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to go into that a little bit, and I was like, hey, do you think we can go over some lyrics? And he was like, lyrics? What are we talking about? And I was like, yeah, let's tweak this a little bit, let's explore this, and then we did the whole song, and I was able to perform it for Collaboration, The Light.
So is your dad a musician?
He is not. I think he has producer equipment, and so we were like, we can definitely explore this, because I have equipment right here. I was like, okay, bet, let's do it then. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he does a little bit of singing, but we were actually thinking of doing the song together eventually.
Oh, yeah. I need to hear that.
So yeah.
What about Miss Veronica over there? Is she an artist?
Those eyes got real wide.
She sings good when she wants to sing good, but she be acting like she don't sing good for real.
Oh, she's a shower singer.
Oh yeah.
She is definitely a belter.
I was gonna say though, that's taking, you're taking advantage of those good acoustics in the shower. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to do? What's your future? What's next?
What is next is I want to still keep in touch with my artistic side, most definitely, but I mainly want to become a teacher when I grow up, for education.
Two teachers here. Me and Martine are really going to cry. You don't understand. We're going to be like this.
Right. Exactly.
Snot.
Exactly. We need more people in education.
Yeah.
And especially people of color, and especially women of color in education. So, just saying, I'm here. I'm here to support you.
I'm not sure what subject I want to do yet, but I am thinking around maybe preschool, but then I'm also thinking of doing, high school. So it's I'm gonna decide when it gets closer.
Yeah,
but
you should totally do that.
There are a couple subjects that I have in mind. Drama would be a good one for me, and English, I don't like math, science, I'm sorry, but or dance as a dance teacher. So any of those would be great for me.
You see this face? It's the plotting face.
I told you, I put this panel together for a reason. I had a whole plan.
I'm here for it.
I'm just going to tell you the truth tonight. This is the truth. I started in theater when I was 10. And that's all. After that, I was like, I ain't doing nothing else. Like, everything I do is going to be in this realm. And I wanted to be, and I'm a teacher. I'm doing, what you said. That's what I do. But I had to go to summer school for algebra twice. I'm just trying to, just hold you up. Math was a problem. And I wish that they had just taught me about money. Because when I got in corporate and I had to learn, like, math, like, I had to learn, like, money math, I was like, oh, this makes sense. So, you can have the career you want without algebra.
Yeah, all that algebra.
I'm just trying to lift you up. You can have a career you want without algebra. Just pass. Just get enough to get out.
That's real.
Come do all this.
Calculus was the thing that did me in. I managed to get that far. I was in AP statistics, all that stuff. Calculus, did me in.
Ooh, as soon as I could shake it. But chemistry, I was cool because I'd been cooking since I was a kid.
Exactly.
So I understood. And geometry,
transferable skills.
Geometry, I was good because I've been in theater. I know space.
Right.
I can give you a space, but no, algebra took me down like a gazelle in the wild. Algebra took me down. Saniyah, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your gift. Look, you can stay and just be a part of the magic.
Okay.
You can hang out. You want to hang out? All right, we're hanging out for the rest of the hour because you get to hear from the big you.
Future you.
The future you. Hey, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, you want to give us a call at 773-763-WCPT. That's 773-763-9278. And now it's time for the interrogation of Martine.
Oh, I didn't know this was an interrogation.
It is not an interrogation at all.
Hopefully I got my story straight.
Listen, whatever story you tell is going to be intriguing and fascinating for Saniyah and I and Miss Veronica over there.
Well, I've been listening to Dateline podcast. I don't know.
Okay, real quick.
My guilty pleasure on my commute in.
Listen, real quick. The first 48 has me stuck because I want them to do the first 48 Chicago. They'll never solve a crime here in 48 hours. Nobody snitches. But, like, first 48, I'm intrigued by the level of snitching. So I watch it. Anyway, Martine Kei Green Rogers, Dean of the Theater School at DePaul University. She is Black history. The actual first Black woman, Black person to run the theater school at DePaul.
That's true.
She obtained her PhD from the Department of Theater and Drama at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I think that's around the time I met you, when you were getting your PhD.
I was a baby turg then.
Prior to studying at UW-Madison, she received her BA in theater from Virginia Wesleyan College and her MA in theater history and criticism from the Catholic University of America. Martine is an experienced director and dramaturg with a long list of credits. She is the stage adapter of Jason Reynolds' book, Long Way Down, which premiered at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in October of 2018. Her publications include the article Talk Back for Sensitive Subject Matters and Production, the Theory and Practice, in the Rutledge Companion to Dramaturgy. I am not going to continue to read through this entire bio because I want to hear from you, ma'am.
It's like, it's a lot. Don't do it.
What is your origin story? What is it? Like, if we were doing a Marvel movie, how did we get a Martine? What happened?
What had happened was my grandmother thought I had way too much energy and not a constructive place to put it. So she was like, I'm enrolling you in some theater classes. So 4-year-old Martine went to go do her thing with the Hurrah Players down in Norfolk, Virginia. And that was basically the beginning of the story of world domination. So I've been doing theater since I was 4, which we're not going to talk about how old I am, but let's just say I've seen several revolutions. To the point where I'm going to have to start, talking to my hairdresser about coloring some stuff.
Oh, Lord.
So, several revolutions.
Yes.
But I think the thing that was interesting to me, that really set my career trajectory, was stories and storytelling.
Okay.
And what was always interesting to me was how people received stories and storytelling. And so before I knew that there was a thing called dramaturgy, I was committing acts of it, which was a lot of fun. But I actually discovered dramaturgy, which really is a thing that set my career on the path that it's on, when I was a sophomore in college. My advisor thought I was that person that came to rehearsal way too prepared. In that way that people are like, why you got all these books and stuff? And I was like, well, I was in the library doing some research and look at all this fun stuff I found. Like, we were doing Vinegar Tom, and it just so happened that at the same time we were doing Vinegar Tom, I was taking a class called Witches and Witchcraft.
Oh, okay.
And it was a history seminar. And then all of a sudden the stuff that was going on in that particular play was exactly what was happening in, those are the same stories echoed in the history class I was taking. And I was just bringing all sorts of stuff in, like people wanted to hear what I had to say. and a monster was born that day.
So, okay. Most people have never even heard the word dramaturgy.
I've heard.
And as a person who was raised in theater, I didn't know what it was for real. I thought the dramaturg was the person, you have a play, and the dramaturg comes in and they give you, like, this play was set in 1922, and this is what people wore. Women had stockings. The end. Like, that is what this whole, like, underbelly of theater was for me. It was like, what is the practice
of dramaturgy
for somebody who has never even heard this word?
Well, I think the best way to describe it is that there are sort of a few prongs that come out of it. So part of dramaturgy is what you're talking about, that historical context, but a lot of it is actually really asking and challenging everyone in a space to really answer the question, why this play now? And what is the relevance of it, and making sure that we are staying true to that relevance while also staying true to the story that's in front of us at the same time. I like to say that my job is to make a marriage between a director's concept and the text on the page, and hopefully it doesn't end up in divorce or bad reviews. So there's a lot of research, but then there's also just a lot of conversation about, like, what are the choices we're making and why? And I think sometimes people feel like dramaturgs are the history police when we're actually the opposite. We're all about solutions. And so is it necessary, for example, if we're doing a play set in, I don't know, like the 1700s, for everybody to have woolen clothing? Not necessarily. It just needs to look like it is.
Right. Right.
And I think the other thing that we're also, maybe a little bit in the lines of the history police is also knowing our audience. I'll give you a really good example. So this is when I was still in school, and I was a house manager for a theater during that time. And I remember going into, so this is in the DC area. And so high military area. And this is a prime example of people not knowing their audience, because we're in a high military area. And I know from working house management that we do actually have a lot of military and retired military that come to see the shows at that particular place. We did a show. It was Fences, actually, by August Wilson. And there was a moment in the play where the character comes back and has been, went off to the military, came back. And it was very clear to anyone who knew what they were supposed to know that the rank of the character that was being said out loud was not the rank that was on that shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that as soon as I saw that. I was like, oh, a lot of people coming to me complaining about that. And was I right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So and the thing that makes that sad is that that reveal is such an important moment in the play. You know, what this character has done with themselves after they ran away. And the fact that what was now happening is that no one was paying attention to that moment because they were all hyper-focused on that thing, that mistake.
Right.
And so getting back into that is the kind of thing that dramaturgs are there to help with, because I could tell anyone that if you're in a not high military area, you might have a couple people that are like, no, that's not right. But when you're probably most of your audience is military, doing something like that is totally going to take people out of the story.
And I've been in rooms where playwrights and directors have both been stupid mad at the dramaturg because it's not that deep. It's not that serious. It's like...
No, if we're telling you it's that serious, because here's the thing. I mean, I can't speak for all dramaturgs, but but I'm definitely that dramaturg that is, if it's something that I don't think anyone's going to know besides like me and maybe a few people in a space, I'm not going to say anything. Or if I say anything, I will preface it with, I don't think this is,
a big deal.
It's a big deal, or it's going to break the play if you don't fix this. But I am that person where if it is going to break this play, I'm going to tell you. And my whole theory is you don't have to take my note. Subtext, you don't have to take it, but I don't know how that's gonna work out for you.
So you're out in these theater streets, trying to help these people put together a cohesive story. How do you end up running the theater school at DePaul in Chicago? Like, how did you get here with us?
Do you want like the inspiring version of that, or just the funny literal version of how did I?
Listen, I like funny and literal because I think we're here to educate the people.
That's fair. Okay, I think I can start the story with the moral of the story.
Okay,
which is you should just be open to opportunity.
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. So what had happened was, it's 2020. I had just gotten tenure at my institution, and I was definitely, this was at SUNY New Paltz, and I was having a moment of like, what's next? Because I feel like, especially if your career is in education, you're just like, okay, what is the next horizon? What is the next milestone in your career? And so got tenure, and then I was like, oh, what am I doing now with myself? Because the past 6 years, 7 years, it all been about doing that.
Right.
So wasn't sure what I was going to do with myself. And so I'm going to own that I did the thing that, I'm a little sad to admit this out loud, mostly because I loved SUNY New Paltz and I still love my former colleagues there. But I was like, oh, maybe it's time for me to move on. I don't know. I was starting to feel the walls.
Yeah.
And so I called who I always call when I'm having this moment, which is one of my PhD advisors. He wasn't my dissertation advisor, but he ran the Theater for Cultural and Social Awareness program at UW-Madison. And at that point, he was then and is now the provost down at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. And so I said, "Hey, Patrick, I'm feeling a little like, what am I doing next?"
Patrick Sams?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick Sams.
Exactly. We have to let him know. He'll probably call me because he knows he's like, somebody saying my name somewhere. Who this?
Carla Stillwell.
Exactly.
Tell him Carla.
Exactly. So I called him and I was like, what should I be doing now? And so he said, well, I have something that I can, he was like, how about this? I am in need of an interim dean right now because I just had my dean for the Division of Liberal Arts step down and there's not enough time to run the search. Would you be interested in coming down to do that? And I was like, I don't know, yo. Because, of course, at this point, I had not been a chair. The best I had been was, like, the head of my own program at SUNY New Paltz. And so I was like, I don't know about this. And it's funny because sometimes you just need that person to say the thing that you need to hear, which is, you can do this.
Right.
Just come do it.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. So I come down there and do it. Now, this is where the story intersects with DePaul. So I get there. I start, what is that, July 1st of 2021? Yes, 2021.
So we're still in the panorama.
Yes, definitely in the panorama. Or in the pandy.
Oh, pandy.
Exactly. And so I'm down there, and I'm not kidding. 2 weeks in, I get a phone call from the search firm that is running the DePaul search. Mm-hmm. And they're like, would you be interested? And I was like, I just started this, so I don't even know if I like this. So if I got to answer right now, no. And they were like, well, how about this? We've got time. We'll call you in a little bit. So I was like, all right, fine. So then they call back, and this is at this point, they call back in August. Mm-hmm. And this is like when classes are started. So, I mean, I'm just like, mm-hmm. Everything's falling apart. Chicken Little, the sky's falling down. So they call back and they're like, are you interested? And I was like, well, if I got to answer that, the answer is H to the no.
Right.
I was like, no, this is all craziness. No. And they're like, we'll call back. We still got some time. We'll give it a month. And so they call back in September and they're like, okay, we're actually now kind of getting down to the wire. Are you interested? And by then everything had calmed down. I kind of found my rhythm and my pace. And knowing that I was in an interim job, I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Right. I go for this thing, not get it. Doesn't matter. Because the upside is that I still had because I had taken a professional leave of absence from SUNY New Paltz to go down and do that thing at UNCSA. So I still had a job no matter what happened.
Right.
So I was like, okay, sure. Next thing I know, I got a job.
Got a job.
And it was funny because it's like February. Found out that I gotten the gig, which was great, and I'm super excited. But it was really wild because then I had to have all kinds of heartbreaking conversations with a lot of people because by then I was in the pool for the permanent job at UNCSA, so I had to let Patrick know.
Yeah.
And it was really hard having a conversation with your mentor to be like, okay, I'm leaving you. Thank you for encouraging me to do this thing. And now that you've encouraged me to do this thing, you've created a monster.
Right.
Somewhere else. And then I also had to tell my colleagues at SUNY New Paltz that I was leaving, which was also really weird and kind of awkward. Only because I was just having such a good time working at all those places.
Right.
Which is also the thing. I think that was the first time in a really long time I'd actually really liked where I worked.
Right.
Because, every job has its up and downs.
I want to say something for anybody who's listening. I think sometimes certain professions, the pathway goes over people's head.
Right.
I think people listening to you are kind of like, what is she, did tenure and PhD, like if you were saying you had your JD, if you were saying you were a medical doctor, people could put it in perspective.
Right.
But I don't think people know how long you was in school.
That's real.
And I don't think people know how long it takes for when you're in your college and all of your professors who are faculty, they've been playing that game for a long time. Mm-hmm. Getting tenure is real, and it doesn't happen for everyone.
And that is true.
Sometimes there are people and professors that sink 10, 20, 15, 5, 8 years into a university and never get tenure.
Right. And then there's that moment where it's the end of the road.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing that's really hard and difficult on the other side of not getting tenure is 9 times out of 10, your contract basically just gets you to tenure.
Right.
So if you don't get it, you don't have a job anymore.
And this happened to someone we both know very well. They were at an institution for 8 years. Mm-hmm. The students decided that they didn't like talking to that black woman. Mm-hmm. She did not get tenure after 8 years, and no other university was interested because it was a high profile. Mm-hmm. So to be Martine Green, all black and
shining and sparkling in my black excellence.
in your excellence, and to be where you are is amazing.
The thing that's also weird and hard about it is that when you really start to dig into the statistics of most schools, I am a unicorn. I think if I remember correctly, nationally, this was a while ago that I remember from this stat. This is probably at least 5 years old, but less than 2% of all of the faculty in the entire country, Black women that are tenured. Less than 2%. I don't know what that number is now, but I can tell you, you can count on, 4 hands. Is that right? I think it might be less than that. I have to go back and look, but there aren't a lot of tenured Black women at DePaul. Like, there's a lot. We are unicorns.
Yeah.
So, and it makes me sad that we are, because there are a lot of things that get in the way of people being able to make a successful case for tenure. And a lot of times there are things you have to give up in order to do that. Like, I made in some ways my career the most important thing.
Right.
And, and that has pros and cons.
Right.
Did not have children.
Right.
So, but I'm holding it down with the dog mom.
Proud cat mom.
Exactly.
Cat twins over here.
And, and I also, my strategy was to do it all in one big old sweep. So we're talking, I went straight, into high school, into undergrad, straight out of undergrad, into my master's degree program, straight out of my master's degree program, into my PhD program, straight out of my PhD program, basically into a tenure track job. Like, I got a postdoc and then straight from the postdoc into a tenure track job. Did that, really didn't waste any time. I went straight for that tenure as soon as I could go up for it. And, and then skipped a whole lot of steps and became a dean. So now the question is, when did I actually really start living my life? And the thing that's funny about that is, if anyone was like, all right, Martine, when did you do the thing that people do in their 20s? I'd be like, never. When did you do the thing that people did in their 30s? I'd be like, maybe start now.
Right.
And, I'm going to go ahead and just own it. I'm in my 40s now. And so also the fact that I'm a young dean. I am the youngest dean at DePaul. And when I was at UNCSA, I was the youngest dean in that space too. So a lot of ambition. And also some major plans to retire early. My whole plan is to, I've worked a lot.
Oh, no. 55, you need to be up.
Exactly. And that's
you need to be done.
That is actually the thing I keep on my list. I actually have a list in my phone of goals. My goal is to be done at 55.
55, you need to be up, out of there, and I need to be going to visit you on your boat.
Exactly, done.
We need to be on your yacht, kicking it.
Exactly. Toothpick inserted in, comes out clean kind of done. For a baking metaphor.
Right. All right, so here's the thing. Because Saniyah's sitting here, and she's like, Lord, I said I had wanted to be a teacher, but is that real? Is this my path, Lord? But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's different now. Because we came out of the pandemic, and we came out of this huge, and we're in the middle of this huge cultural unrest.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in school, we had to do everything. Because I was at Columbia College here. We had to do lighting and sound, and we had to touch everything. We had to know everything. And then I went into the storefront theaters, where you had to do everything because there wasn't any money.
Right.
So you had to learn and do everything. And then there was this generation behind me, because I'm older than everybody in the room.
But you don't look it, girl.
Baby, snatched.
Exactly.
The skin is snatched.
Exactly.
There was just the generation behind me that was deeply into the conservatory model, where you go, you study that thing.
That one thing. Very
and
deeply.
And you do that thing, and you concentrate on that thing, and that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the world blew up.
Mm-hmm.
So as a young dean, who has been on both, because you're actually old enough to be on both sides of this thing, right?
I'm an exennial.
You're almost one of us.
Exactly.
Almost an Xer.
Right.
You remember records.
Exactly. I still got some.
But, you're on both sides of this. So what are you telling these juniors and seniors that are coming out of high school about what it means to be an artist now?
Heard. I mean, I think the thing that's the most important thing, and I'm going to look straight at you as I say that, is one, give yourself the freedom to revise and resubmit. Whatever choices you're making, you can revise and resubmit those. I don't think you're stuck to anything. And part of the reason why I say that is because the arts world has become so interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, that you really can do whatever it is that you want at the same time. I mean, just think about what we're doing right now. We are in a medium that's mostly oral, but people can actually also watch us at the same time if they wanted to.
Right.
So there are just so many different ways in which we can engage. Like if we really wanted to, we could be doing a whole performance art piece while we're doing this thing right now. And some people would only hear maybe just like the huffing and puffing of all of us doing the thing, but they would just hear our voices in this thing. Or someone could watch us and maybe not even listen to a word that we're saying. There are just so many ways that we can come at art these days. And there's so many things that art can do. And so what I would really say to people is just, follow what makes your heart happy. There is a space for anything that makes your heart happy, as long as it does not involve harming other people. Always got to put that caveat in there. But if it doesn't include that, there's a space for anything you want to do. If you want to be the first Black woman to tap dance on Carla's head while Well,
now, I was raised by a Black mother, so she wouldn't be the first Black woman to tap dance on my head. No.
But you know what I mean? Like anything is a potential, and there are just so many mediums. Like there are people who have whole series, as we were talking about, on TikTok, and I think that's some of the most innovative things I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Are like whole series of storytelling via TikTok.
I love it.
I love it. I'm here for every second of it. And there are just so many ways that we can do this. So I would just say follow the thing that makes your heart happy and recognize that really the entire world is your resource.
Yes.
And just use those resources that are there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would be the thing that I say. And I don't think, and I know this is very controversial to say as someone who leads a program in higher ed, but not all of it requires a degree. There are some things that a degree will be helpful for. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I learned very quickly, I tell people this all the time, and this is going to sound really terrible, but it's actually just the honest to goodness truth. I probably learned less about theater during my PhD program. And what I truly actually learned is what kind of teacher did I want to be? What kind of work did I want to do? What kind of pedagogy? What kind of teacher? Like, how am I teaching? How am I engaging with students? That's what I learned. Not necessarily about theater.
I have, when I do talkbacks and stuff at universities a lot, I talk about the difference between being an entertainer and an artist. And I get people be like, ugh, when I say this thing, but this is the truth. I decided as a little bitty girl, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be in this discipline in a certain way. So education was a path that was important for that. But if you want to be an entertainer, tell your mama and daddy to give you that $60,000, $70,000 for that first year of college.
Right.
Let you go to LA, get your body done, get your work done.
Exactly.
Go with all the reality shows. Go wait tables at Vanderpump or one of the shows. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, put yourself, get you an agent, get the good weave, and go be an entertainer.
Right.
Because it's not a condemnation.
Right.
It's a choice.
It's a choice, and there's nothing wrong with any of those choices. I remember one of the things that's interesting to me about theater, and I still actually have a really hard time with it, is that as much as we want to say that theater isn't elitist, it is.
Oh, yeah.
People say elitist stuff all the time in the theater. Like, people look down at people who do things like, I'm just making this up. I'm not making this up, but just off the top of my head, people who do cruise line stuff.
Yeah.
People, and all of this it's work. So my question, and sort of the variation of the thing that you were just talking about, my question is always for students, and all of it lives there. But my question is, do you want to be famous?
Right.
Or do you want to have a career?
Right.
Because those things don't necessarily always mean the same thing at the same time. You can be famous and not have a career.
Yes. Billy Porter will tell you that right now because he had to sell his house.
Right.
Because of one actor strike.
Right. Exactly. And so where's the sustainability? Where are the transferable skills? Where are all those things? Because I knew being a dramaturg, like my whole thing is I don't want to be famous.
Right.
Although I found out the other day that maybe I'm famous in dramaturgy circles, but that sounds like the small kind of circle.
Like, no, you are the most famous dramaturg in the world. Like, and that I'm not even lying. That, like, I can drop your name. Like, you know, I know Martine. She's my dean. You know, that's why I adjunct with her. You know, I can drop you. Like, I call it almost famous.
Exactly. Like, and I'm totally fine with that, because honestly, I realized during my trajectory that what I didn't want was necessarily people looking at me, which is why I'm like, why did I decide to become a dean? Besides a lot of self-loathing, because a lot of being a dean is being public facing. But, you know, in the end, you know, I realized that my strengths were in supporting people who wanted to do the thing that they wanted to do, no matter what that was.
Right.
Because, like, basically, to me, being a dean is also, I'm just dramaturging the theater school at DePaul University.
Right.
Like, what is our beginning? What is our beginning in terms of our story? What is our middle? And where are we trying to go? And let's see if we can figure out how to make that story work and go in the direction we wanted to go.
What was the most compelling thing you ever saw in a student's application? The thing when you read an application, you were like, this mug is getting in this institution regardless, or as we say on the South Side, irregardless of what happens.
Though this one isn't necessarily an application from DePaul, but it was during my time. But this was during my time at SUNY New Paltz. I had a student who was interested in my program. And they said that the reason why they were interested in my program is because they thought it lived at the intersections of all the things. And that's what they said, is at the intersection of all the things. And I was like,
I want to meet this child so they can finish that sentence.
Exactly. Exactly. I was like, I need to know more. Like, I feel like you're about to enlighten me about my own field. Come on, bring it. Tell me about how it's at the intersection of all the things. I'm pretty sure it's at the intersections of all things theater, but I need to know how's it at the intersection of, I don't know, the cake I'm about to eat and the lasagna that I had before. I need to know.
Let's talk about existentialism as it relates to the shuffleball change.
Exactly.
Let's do that.
Exactly.
All right. We have a few minutes.
Ooh,
I want to have some fun.
Really quick before, because I actually want to do a shameless plug for a show that we have going on at school right now.
You must do all shameless plugs.
Right. Mostly just because this is such a beautiful story. So we're doing the Molehill Stories right now.
Okay.
Directed by the most amazing Michelle Lopez Rios. And it's a bilingual adaptation of Molehill, Moonrope, and Cuckoo. And it's running from October 7th to November 4th at the Merle Reskin Theater downtown.
Oh, yeah.
It is such a great children's show. And I want to make, the reason why I really want to make such a shameless plug for our children's shows is because, like, in a moment like this, one of the things that we've been struggling with is the lack of buses for CPS, all that stuff. So we're having a really hard time just getting students to come see the show. And we don't even charge much for it. Mm-hmm. And, like, to us, it's less important that we actually make any money off of it. And so the fact that we're having a really hard time getting students in just because of everything that's going on, I just really want to say that it is such a beautiful show. It is such a beautiful story. It is specifically for children. And so anyone who is looking for something to do on a Saturday with their kids, please come check it out.
How do they get tickets? How do they?
So you can either call our box office or you can go online to theater.depaul.edu and go to On Stage, and you'll be able to do that. And if access is a barrier, please just contact us and let us know.
All right. What else? Just keep the plug going. Rest of your season at DePaul, because y'all, man, it be some shows going on up at the theater school. It's some acting. It is some serious acting and talent going on up at the school.
Yeah.
What else can they see this season?
There's a lot you can see this season. I mean, number one, you're directing a show for us a little later. We're going to do some Mackinac. I love it. And honestly, I am super excited about that, because here's the thing that I think we all have to reckon with is that there's a lot of pedagogical value in the classics, but there's also, you have to reckon with some of the things that the classics do, which is sometimes it's a lot-ist. It's a lot-ist. Mm-hmm. And so it takes care and courage and nuance and a cultural competency sometimes to really say, how do we tell this story in a thoughtful way that isn't going to alienate everybody that comes in to see this thing? Right. So I'm ready to see the Carla Stillwell version of Maka and all. I'm here for it.
It's going to be so intergenerational, it's so intercultural, so, I love it. So alphabetized. It's going to be we're gonna do this 1929 play in 2023.
Exactly. And then we've got a couple other things. We've got Carlos Murillo, who's one of our faculty members who runs our playwriting program. We're doing one of his plays, and he's directing it. It's called Killing of a Gentleman Defender. Dean Corrin is directing Seagull, and it's his adaptation of Seagull, so I'm super excited about that as well. Mm-hmm. We're definitely highlighting some of the talents of our faculty. We have a lot going on up in that building. And anyone who I didn't name, it's not because I don't love you. It's just we're short on time.
But yeah, so it has been a pleasure to be part of the DePaul family under my Dean Martine.
Yay!
All right, real quick, 1 minute speed round. Favorite TikTok series right now?
Oh, I don't know how to choose one.
Come on, just spitball.
You got one?
Come on. Favorite TikTok series?
It don't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter. Because we're talking about stories.
Right.
Well, that's not really a story.
Do it. Whatever it is.
I really like this one dude's ranking. So dresses at homecoming and prom. They're so it's so funny.
I'm gonna own that my TikTok rabbit holes actually tend to be like this is not a series. It's a series, but The Black Forager. Have you ever seen her work?
No.
There's she's a woman who basically forages food. Black lady who teaches you all about like the things that are in your backyard that you think is a weed that is actually edible.
I love things like that.
Exactly. I love The Black Forager.
Because right now, mine is the Gen Z Bible stories.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, my God.
Deceased. What is this?
This guy, he takes all the old Bible stories and he does them in, like, Gen Z language. It's like, and Mary was simping for God and in prayer, and then Gabriel came and was like, the big G has posted wants you, and Mary was like, what did he say? And Mary was like, but I had promised I would keep my body count to 0 respectfully.
Oh,
so you must.
Yeah, I got one for you now.
Yes.
I probably remember the name of it. It's called the series is called Love and Dementia. But I forget the guy who does. Have you seen that? But it's basically this guy who's like dramatizing all these things that are happening in a nursing home, and it's
oh Lord,
and that is some high key drama.
I love it. I love it. I love it, and I love both of you. Thank you so much.
Come
back next week. Catch us live Saturdays, 4 p.m. Central every week. Next week, me and Sandra Delgado take over. You can also listen to podcasts at WCPT SoundCloud and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can watch it on Collaboration's Facebook page and YouTube page. Have a great week.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Hey. Have a great week.
I love how I just tricked my watching and thinking that I hadn't exercised.
The preceding program, Collaboration Radio, is sponsored